Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is fantastic to have you here. Today is day 2 of a cane sword.
As you guys saw in the last episode, we forged the blade, heat treated it, and now we're about to take it out of the heat treating oven where it has been tempering for the past 2 hours.
Before we jump into that, we're going to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is the online website building platform that makes it phenomenally easy to build your own website, and when you go to squarespace.com/forge, you're going to be getting 10% off your first purchase, as well as a free trial. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. Let's jump in and have a look at this blade.
Okay, so we got a pretty dang bad warp during the heat treat, during the quench last night. So I clamped the blade with some shims to a bar of steel and put that in the tempering oven, and that kind of serpentine pattern that we've clamped it to will kind of warp it in the actual temper cycle. Alex in the office doing office-y things. We're gonna have a look at this blade when it comes out after about an hour in the oven. Okay, we are done with the tempering cycle. Let's get these out of here. Oh, hey, that's hot.
And how is this looking after the first shim temper?
It's bent, but we've got it marked out. We're gonna put pieces of wire there and there, and we're gonna clamp there and there.
It is really bent.
It's really bent.
Oh my goodness.
But it'll be okay because we're gonna do another shim temper cycle, and it definitely might work out.
How many hours are we gonna do it this time?
Probably 1.
Okay, another hour, see if it gets a little straighter.
Bam!
Shim shimmy, shim shim. The cane sword gets straightened. Into the Paragon oven we go. Sponsor of the show. Check out their ovens. ParagonWeb.net. Shim shimmy, shim shim. It has been in its second shim temper. That is really heavy. Let's see once it's cooled down what it looks like. Cool. Let it cool down. Cool down a good bit.
Is it better?
It's a little better. It needs some more of that pin right there. So time for shim temper number 3. Will, you're out of the grinding room?
That is correct. This is not the grinding room.
You're in the main workshop.
We're in the main workshop. The sword
It's feeling very nimble.
It's so whippy.
Oh, this is gonna be amazing. And it's only gonna get lighter and whippier.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It probably won't lose a ton of weight from this point out. I'm gonna do the false edge on the back and just thin out the rest of the edge a little bit
So
more.
the thought that I had as I picked this up here, I think our false edge on the back instead wants to be a real edge. There's a reason for it. So, as you're coming out here of your cane sword handle, you don't necessarily know which side the edge is on, because this needs to be a cane. It needs to look like a cane and be well disguised. I think it would be good for us to have sharpness on both sides. That false edge could start here and it could still be sharp.
That's true.
It doesn't have to be a full diamond sword, but we can at least sharpen it so that, you know, for the bulk of the blade, we have a 2-edged sword. And it means we come out of it and it's slashy on both sides as well as stabby on the tip.
I think probably what we can do is, since I've already started the false edge back here and we're kind of past taking that away, we can just have it taper down and then have it start getting sharp right around there.
Yeah. What I need now is I need a little tracing of the tang, so I know I can plan out anything below this dimension. We'll take a few measurements, 766, 500, 5355. And with this, I can start to think about the rest of the components, which means that I am gonna take this monster block,
Which is the leftover casting from the bench vise that we cast.
oh, we did not calculate right, but that is fine, because I can take this monster block of bronze. We're gonna forge this into a bar that can go in the lathe. Okay, this won't work. So we're now in a rather unfortunate situation. We don't have bronze, so I don't know what materials we're now going to use for these fittings. Of course, we have steel. Plenty of steel to choose from. We could do steel. That wouldn't be too bad. I like the idea of bronze, but steel would be fine. So I think this means we can just cut some steel off and jump right into the lathe work. Nope. I need to design it first, because that would be smart, and it's good to do one of those things every month. So I've hopped on into Fusion 360 and miraculously, I actually got the idea across. This right here is what it is that we need to make. These are the fittings. We're gonna have to make ourselves a little sprung baldy tent, which I have very little clue how to do. We're gonna have to put a spring in there somehow. It's gonna be how it clips itself together. But by goodness, I'm just thrilled that I actually drew something on Fusion 360 and it looks like I intended, and it's actually gonna be way more useful than the hand drawing I did. Oh my goodness. That is one.
Watch out, the clip is sharp.
Bendy blade. Wowza!
This is brilliant. So as we've discovered in the past, going through a piece of cardboard is actually more difficult than going through flesh.
That's true. Push dagger, steel vessel. Oh my goodness gracious me. That distance here, Will, could you stand up straight, please? Yes. That's right.
All the way through.
You would be stabbed the entire way through. Oh my goodness gracious me. Let's weigh this bad boy. It started out as 1.8 pounds after forging. We have halved the weight.
I think it's about time that we do a little test etch.
So off camera, we found out that this wasn't the 123 layer steel that we thought it was. It was actually the same steel that we made the sword breaker out of. So it's an incredibly fine mosaic steel, except we have it on the sides and we have it incredibly finely twisted.
We did twist it, which means that we will be exposing the pattern.
Just a little bit. I'm sure it's going to look amazing. You know, it's a very fine pattern. It's going to look very unique. It won't be what we initially intended. That is such a fine pattern, and it looks amazing.
It's a super, super fine pattern. So fresh. So fine.
You know, we started this project with the idea of, we'll just make a cane sword. Little did we know we were going to make the coolest thing we've ever made. So I, at last, need to actually make something on the lathe.
Oh. Oh my. Actually, first, don't you have some forging to do?
Well, the bronze broke. We had the idea of throwing some Damascus in the fire.
Yeah. It's gonna look so much better than regular...
I know, but I've made so little progress today. I'm gonna light the forge, so we can forge out some Damascus, so we can forge the pieces that I designed on Fusion about 14 days ago.
Woo! And I'm gonna take a piece of sandpaper and rub it on this for a long time.
So I just got done with another hour-long phone call.
Oh, yeah?
After a 20-minute long phone call before.
Oh!
It never ends. It just never ends, Will.
Okay, it is now the next day. Do you guys remember that one time when Alec was like, hey, I'm gonna throw some steel in the fire and size it down for the ferrule on the pommel and on the cane sword? Well, he went back into the office and we haven't seen him since. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the steel in the fire and size it down for the pommel and the cane sword ferrule so he can throw it in the lathe.
I've escaped the office's deathly clutch, and I have 1 hour before another meeting to make some progress. So at last, it's time to make some chips. So this is Damascus steel that we're working on, which is tricky, because we have 0.8% carbon steels, one of them has nickel in it, but, but they're both high carbon steels, and they are being a nightmare to cut with carbide tooling. Carbide tooling is just like this. This is just, a normal indexable carbide cutting insert. You can cut hard steel perfectly fine. You can cut hardened steel perfectly fine. The carbide will do it. The trouble is that our drill bits, though these are a very nice set of Triumph drills that we got sent, they're high-speed steel, and they don't like cutting hardened steel at all. I've already burnt up one drill bit. I went to sharpen it again. I got it sharp, it cut a little bit, but it's just screeching everywhere. We've got smoke going. It's not working well. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna perform a little machinist blasphemy, take ourselves a carbide end mill, put it in a Jacob's chuck, all the things that you shouldn't ever do, and use this to get the hole in it before it's large enough that we can get a boring bar with a carbide tip in to open out the hole as needs be. Here we go. Okie dokie, now time to set up the boring bar.
As you guys have seen, I've been working on hollowing out the cavity for this blade to sit in there. It's got a really nice fit so far. When it's the two pieces are together, it gets firm about right there, and then you can press it in. It's gonna be spectacular. It's right where we need it to be. But the thing about working with ball burrs and other such burrs is that they like to walk on you. They are great journeyers, so we gotta fix that. That's not right. We're gonna go ahead. I think I'm gonna start off maybe with just draw filing it kind of lightly with a big file, see if I can kind of flatten this thing down and keep it pretty flat so that we can glue this thing up pretty quick here, and hopefully I don't make too many mistakes as I'm working that down, trying to keep it flat. So we've got the cane part of the cane sword glued up, ready for some shaping. We've got the sword fit in there. It's just time to go ahead and do some cool fastening. We're gonna go octagonal on the top and round down at the bottom. It'll be a nice transition piece. Let's go into the grinding room and make it happen. Is here.
Hey,
He just arrived. He makes YouTube videos and things and such forth about making rings.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So tomorrow we're gonna find a way that we can combine our skills together on something. In the meanwhile, be sure to check out Patrick. Will, this is looking amazing. Thank you.
You know, I finally escaped the clutches of the office for about 6 minutes, which is why the machine is on.
Ah. You made it all the way to pushing the button.
Pushed the button, turned on the spindle, and here we are again. Today's been a very long day. It's not even been one day, it's been multiple days.
3 days for me, 12 for him, since time moves so much slower while you're working in the office.
So hopefully I can get a little more time in on this cane sword, but thank you guys for watching. As we end the video, let's thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Today's sponsor has been Squarespace. They allow you to build a website incredibly easily and very cost effectively. You no longer have to go worrying about how difficult it is to get your website when you're trying to start your business, or you just want to do something as simple as having your portfolio of work online, because you can build it all yourself, and when you go to squarespace.com/forge, you can even try building it to see just how easy it is. As you know, we recently completed the Swordbreaker and we put it up for auction. I was able to make the web pages about the Swordbreaker on my Squarespace website incredibly easily, and it looks way nicer than it should. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I was able to sell the auction access tickets through the Squarespace website. You can sell unlimited products on Squarespace. The websites will always include the mobile counterpart. So much internet activity is going on phones these days, it's essential your website works on mobile, and they have 24/7 customer support to help you out. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. Thank you guys for supporting our sponsors. Be sure to check them out and use code FORGE at checkout. It's been a pleasure. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.